Imagine ordering narcotics the same way you order a pizza. A few clicks on a computer, payment through cryptocurrency. A package arrives at your door 3 days later. No dealer, no street corner, no face-to-face transaction, just an encrypted marketplace hidden in the digital underground. For years, hundreds of vendors operated this way, shipping poison to 270 cities across 4 continents, believing the darkness of the web made them invisible. They were wrong. This is the story of Operation Raptor, and how federal investigators exposed a global empire that thought encryption meant invincibility. The dark web is not the internet most people use. It exists in layers beneath normal websites, accessible only through specialized software designed to hide users' identities. No search engines, no tracking cookies, complete anonymity. Or so the vendors believed. Within this digital underground, marketplaces operated like online stores, but instead of selling electronics or clothing, they sold narcotics, controlled substances of every type, including cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine. Increasingly, the deadliest product of all appeared: pills laced with dangerous substances. Packaged to look like legitimate prescription medication, they were shipped through the postal system directly to buyers' homes. The business model was sophisticated. Vendors established reputations through customer reviews, earning 5-star ratings for fast shipping and positive feedback for product quality. The system mirrored legitimate e-commerce, except the product being sold could cause fatal outcomes. Payment occurred exclusively through cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Monero, digital currencies designed to be untraceable. Buyers transferred funds to encrypted wallets, vendors confirmed payment, then packaged the product and dropped it in a mailbox. The Postal Service, completely unaware, delivered narcotics alongside birthday cards and bills. For years, this system worked. Thousands of transactions, millions of dollars, all hidden behind layers of encryption that vendors believe made them untouchable. But in early 2024, the Federal Bureau of Investigation's Joint Criminal Opioid and Darknet Enforcement Team began noticing patterns. Despite the encryption, despite the anonymity, digital breadcrumbs existed. Tiny mistakes, small oversights, investigators started following them. The challenge was immense. These were not street dealers who could be physically surveilled. These were individuals operating from bedrooms, apartments, and houses across the world. Some in the United States, others in Austria, Brazil, and the United Kingdom. All connected through encrypted marketplaces that masked their identities and locations. Traditional law enforcement tactics would not work here. No informants to flip, no surveillance cameras to install, no phone lines to tap. This required a different approach: cyber investigation, digital forensics, and international cooperation between agencies that typically operate independently. Investigators started with the marketplaces themselves. These hidden websites operated on servers somewhere in the world. Encrypted, yes, but servers are physical machines. They exist in real locations, they require maintenance, they leave traces. Federal analysts began identifying vulnerabilities, not in the encryption itself, but in how vendors used it. A username reused across multiple platforms. An email address accidentally leaked in a customer dispute. A cryptocurrency wallet that connected to an exchange requiring identity verification. Every small mistake created a thread, and investigators polled. One breakthrough came from a seized package. A routine customs inspection at an international mail facility turned up a suspicious parcel. When opened, it contained pills pressed to look like prescription medication, but field tests revealed dangerous substances. The package was flagged. The return address was fake. The shipping label had been printed by a specific type of printer, a digital fingerprint. Investigators traced the printer model and cross-referenced it with vendor profiles on known dark web marketplaces. They matched it to a seller with over 500 positive reviews, someone who had been operating for years and who believed they were completely anonymous. That printer created a connection, and connections can be followed. The investigation expanded rapidly. What started as one vendor led to an entire network. These sellers were not operating independently. They were part of a larger ecosystem: suppliers who manufactured the pills, shippers who handled packaging, and money launderers who converted cryptocurrency back to cash. An entire infrastructure hidden in the digital underground. By late 2024, investigators had identified 270 individuals across 4 continents involved in this network. Not all were major players. Some were buyers who had become small-scale distributors. Others were vendors moving product by the kilogram. But all were connected. All were trafficking narcotics through encrypted marketplaces, and all believed they were safe. The Federal Bureau of Investigation coordinated with international partners, Europol, Interpol, and law enforcement agencies in Austria, Brazil, the United Kingdom, and across South America. The takedown would need to be simultaneous, global, and overwhelming. If even one vendor was arrested early, the others would be alerted. They would destroy evidence and disappear deeper into the dark web. Preparation took months. Warrants were obtained in multiple countries. Cryptocurrency wallets were identified and prepared for freezing. Physical addresses for vendors were confirmed through digital forensics. Server locations for the marketplaces themselves were pinpointed. May 2025. Operation Raptor launched. At precisely synchronized times across multiple time zones, law enforcement moved. In the United States, federal agents executed search warrants on homes and apartments. Suspects were arrested while sitting at their computers, screens still displaying marketplace dashboards, cryptocurrency wallets open, evidence of active trafficking visible. In Austria, police raided a residence that had been identified as a major distribution point for European buyers. The vendor had processed thousands of orders and made hundreds of thousands in cryptocurrency. He had believed encryption kept him invisible. He was wrong. Officers seized computers, packaging materials, and stockpiles of pills ready for shipment. In Brazil, investigators took down a network that had been manufacturing counterfeit pills and shipping them worldwide. Industrial pill presses, precursor chemicals, everything needed to produce thousands of doses, all operating from what appeared to be a legitimate pharmaceutical supply business. The United Kingdom targeted buyers who had transitioned into distributors, individuals who started by purchasing for personal use but began reselling locally. Their digital footprints led investigators from marketplace transactions to physical locations. But the most devastating blow came from the server seizures. The marketplaces themselves were shut down. The digital infrastructure that connected vendors to buyers was dismantled. Millions of dollars in cryptocurrency were frozen in digital wallets. Transaction records that vendors believed were encrypted and safe were now in federal custody. By the end of the coordinated operation, 270 individuals were in custody or identified for arrest. Computers were seized. Cryptocurrency wallets containing millions were frozen. Firearms were recovered from vendors who kept them for protection. And perhaps most importantly, thousands of packages already in the postal system were intercepted before reaching their destinations. The scope was staggering. These 270 individuals had been servicing cities across the globe. Small towns in the Midwest, major metropolitan areas in Europe, suburbs in South America. The network was truly global. And for years it had operated with minimal disruption. But Operation Raptor proved that anonymity on the dark web is an illusion. Every digital transaction leaves traces. Every cryptocurrency wallet connects to something. Every server exists somewhere physical. And with enough resources, patience, and international cooperation, these connections can be followed. The vendors had made critical mistakes, reusing usernames, failing to properly anonymize cryptocurrency transactions, using the same computer for both dark web activities and normal internet browsing. Small mistakes. But in aggregate, they created a map, and investigators followed that map directly to 270 doors. For the communities affected, the impact was immediate. Local dealers who relied on dark web vendors for supply suddenly had no source. The pills that were being shipped to mailboxes across 270 cities stopped arriving. The distribution network was severed. But the case reveals a disturbing reality. The technology that enables this type of trafficking is becoming more accessible. Encryption is getting stronger, cryptocurrency is getting more sophisticated, and new marketplaces will inevitably emerge to replace those that were shut down. Federal investigators are adapting, cyber forensic capabilities are expanding, international cooperation is deepening. And the message being sent is clear. The dark web is not a safe haven. Encryption is not invincibility. And eventually, every digital trail leads somewhere. The 270 arrested individuals now face prosecution in their respective countries. The evidence against them is overwhelming. Seized computers contain marketplace communications, cryptocurrency transaction records, physical narcotics found during raids, customer lists, shipping records, everything documented. For the investigators who worked Operation Raptor, the takedown represents a significant victory, but it is also a sobering reminder. For every marketplace shut down, others are already operating. For every vendor arrested, someone is attempting to fill that void. The battle is ongoing. The dark web will continue to exist. Encryption will continue to protect anonymity. But Operation Raptor proved that anonymity is not absolute. International cooperation can pierce the veil, and vendors who believe the digital underground makes them untouchable are fundamentally wrong. If you believe law enforcement should dedicate more resources to cyber investigations targeting dark web drug trafficking, hit the like button now. Subscribe to Justice Chronicles for stories of how federal agents are fighting crime in the digital age. Comment Justice if you support the investigators who expose this empire. Because while criminals hide in encrypted shadows, federal cyber teams are learning to see in the dark.